Opposite Podcast, where we talk about things. I'm Derek, and this is Aaron.
I'm Aaron. That's Derek.
So this episode is gonna be a kind of a fun one for me. I don't know about Aaron though.
Yeah. So I just want to start by saying this episode's brought to you by Pinnacle Vodka.
Pinnacle whipped vodka.
Whipped vodka. I had a one or two shots before we did this episode, so I'm hoping that that doesn't interfere with the progress we're about to make, man. Because this is going to be like an episode of Dr. Phil.
Wait, am I Dr. Phil in this case?
Derek, you're Dr. Phil in every case. To be honest here.
Yeah, so you can probably see by the title of this episode, but we're going to be talking about dating.
Yeah, dating, relationships, anything in the middle. It's fun for me, I guess, to some degree, but I think I have a little more experience than Derek in that field. As far as...
Considering you're married, I would say yes.
Anyway, yeah. No, I mean, I guess that's a good place to start with it, but I don't know, man. You've probably had more girlfriends than me, though, right?
It was like 4 or 5, I think, total since high school.
Yeah, it's more. I've had a lot of friends, if that counts. But anyway, yeah, I don't really know the segue here, man. It's really hot in here all of a sudden.
That is the vodka.
That's the vodka talking?
Yeah, that's the vodka kind of warming you up a little bit.
I would say a little bit. I might take my shirt off by the end of this one.
Please don't.
It goes from PG-13 to nobody watched this really quick, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's about to go from PG-13 to G because no one's actually going to watch it.
Rated R for retarded. Anyway.
You can't say that.
I can't say retarded?
No.
I mean, okay, all right. I'll fine, whatever. I won't say retarded anymore. Retarded. Anyway.
So, but with the experience you have had with your girlfriends, what are some kind of takeaways you've learned?
People generally try to find people that they're similar to. And because at first, when you start a relationship and you have a lot of similarities, there's a lot to talk about. Whether that similarity is music, movies, experiences, jobs. That's a big one. A lot of people meet people in the workplace, right? You want to find someone, you feel like at least you want to find someone that you can really deal with in that way. Because there's never any, it's so easy to agree with someone. And I can tell you, my first real relationship, you were there.
Yeah.
It was like that. It was, same music, same movies, same general existence, same goals. And it's awesome for a while. But then you're like, man, we ain't got nothing to talk about. Because most conversations are sort of what this podcast is, everything opposite. You want to talk about things you don't have in common. You want to find common ground in subjects and situations that you don't have anything in common. You want to have discourse.
Yeah.
Not hardcore discourse, not yelling and screaming, but you want to be able to say, you feel this way about this, and I feel this way. And this is why I feel this way, and that's why I think you should feel this way.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't want to change someone. And that's really, I think that's when you realize you have the most problems, And the biggest takeaway from that is that you can't change people. You have to respect people. But you also have to take things away from what they're telling you.
Mm.
You have to say, well, yeah, I don't necessarily agree with your concept of, a big one is religion. I don't necessarily agree with your concept of religion, but I see why you do, and I can maybe make myself or work with myself enough to respect that and accept it.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's really easy to tell people. And look, these topics are not something you talk about on a first date, right? This is things that come out over the existence of a relationship, the existence of a friendship even, because we have those differences.
Yeah.
But I think that's why we're doing this podcast. I think it's in that way, it's like a relationship. We're talking about things that we don't necessarily agree with, but ultimately we all have the same goals as people, right? You want to be happy. You want to be not alone. And in my experience, most of the women that I've talked to, and I date a whole lot of women, most women I talk to, initially you want to agree with everything. And as a guy, it's weird because they always talk about guys, like, oh yeah, well man, But you know as well as I do, every guy, and every guy that's going to listen to this, you can tell me I'm wrong, but you know you're wrong. Oh, yeah, I love that. No, I totally love the fact that you like Britney Spears. I love Britney Spears. And you're going to hate Britney Spears' guts. And you're going to pretend for a very long time. I'm not, that's just an example. Calm down, Derek.
I'm about to say, you don't hate on Britney. She's doing well now.
Well, I mean, from the music aspect, not her life. But anyway, but I mean, you're going to pretend like those are things you care about. And, you know, I think there's very few relationships in our lives that we can immediately be honest with. But that's what you got to do. You're never going to find someone that's perfect if you're not being, you know, honest. Or you're not being real. So my takeaway is that you got to be honest. If you don't like something, you got to let them know. You can't be afraid that that's going to end the relationship. Because the fact is, if those things come out later and that's going to end the relationship, then it was never really meant to be.
Yeah.
You know, I don't subscribe to the whole, you know, there's somebody for everybody. Some people are just meant to be alone. Look, some people are just meant to be alone.
Don't look at me like that.
But no, I mean, and to some degree, Derek, I respect that about you because, you know, your love for to be nerdy shit. You're very upfront about that. You'll find somebody that appreciates that shit one day, and that's what you're looking for. Maybe not even appreciate, but accepts it even.
Yeah.
You can't, you know, you can't pretend to be somebody you're not. You know.
Yeah, because literally there was one time, the Facebook does basically like a Tinder thing now.
Yeah, I heard about it. I haven't looked into it because, you know. But
yeah, there's this one person I matched with, and I was about to leave to go to a friend's place. I was like, I'll message back after. And the time it took me to get to my friend's place, she was like, oh, hey, I like your glasses. Oh, wait, is that the Doctor Who shower curtain in the background? Oh, never mind. Like, who the hell just, like, says no just because of a shower curtain in the background? What if it's not even yours?
Well, that's a really good point because, you know, you're a fan of Doctor Who, but I think that's more for Ricky, right?
Yeah, Ricky's definitely a bigger fan of Doctor Who. I appreciate it, especially David Tennant. I loved him, but
Fantastic. That was my favorite.
Yeah, but yeah, I don't understand how you could just blow someone off just because they have an interest in nerdy culture.
Yeah, I think that's a shallow, really, really shallow way to live. I'm not saying to download all your stuff. Like, if I was to go on a date, I wouldn't sit across from a girl and be like, aliens are coming and the government playing 9/11. You know, you're not going to go that far.
Yeah, you got to ease into it.
Right, you got to be like, yeah, you know, some things aren't what they seem. Government playing 9/11. But what I mean is that you still have to be you.
Yeah.
You can't sell someone a fake you. You know, that's one thing I'm trying to do with most people now. I'm trying to be honest more with who I am. You know, I've spent a lot of my life in general, not even just in dating relationships, just kind of like trying to be whatever I need to be in that moment and never really being like, okay, like, I like to go home and play Call of Duty. I like to go home and watch The Witcher. I've always been like, oh yeah, I mean, I can do all these other things. But you can lose track of who you are. Mm-hmm. The most important thing is being who you are. And look, people will come and go, and it's a sad reality, you know, but you cannot be everyone else. You got to be yourself, right? That's probably the main takeaway from all relationships, including, you know, friendships and dating and marriage and the relationship we have with parents. You know, you got to be you.
Yeah, we're all meant to be unique. You shouldn't really shy away from that.
Right.
Because, like, you're definitely more of a confident person who's going to...
Yeah, on the outside.
Yeah, on the outside he's very confident. On the inside he's a scaredy little...
Yeah, I have demons. I named them Frank and Jeff. They're weird. Anyway.
Wait, what about Pablo?
Yeah, I don't know. Ice called, and he's never mind. Anyway. That was funny. That was legit funny. That was funny.
That was topical jokes.
Yeah, well, you know. But what about you, man? You had quite a few relationships with some. I don't want to say undesirable, but definitely women I wouldn't have ever spent time talking to.
Well, I mean, my biggest takeaway is you need to know where you want to be in a relationship.
Right.
Because everyone has, like, a different place where they want to be. Like, I especially find that there's people have varying realities of what they think how much physicalness you need to have versus how much emotionalness you need to have.
Right.
Obviously, because of my upbringing, I'm much more of a emotional person than a physical person. Like, I'm not afraid to show, like, physical, like, emotion, like kissing, hugging, all that stuff. Like, I'm not afraid to be physical, but the emotional aspect is definitely more important to me. But also getting to know each other is also important to me, because with that emotion comes growing. So if I'm like, hey, I'm really into this, and you're just kind of blowing it off, then you're kind of ruining the experience of, hey, I'm trying to show you something I love. You don't have to necessarily love it too, but just kind of like understand where I'm coming from.
Acknowledge it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, and I feel that because I think for me, it's always, there are a lot of people in the world that are like hopeless romantics in that they say they're very good at using words. I'm a wordsmith.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm pretty good at that. It's really the only thing I'm good at. Sell the devil ice water, right? But you never really know how the other person feels.
Yeah.
And you tend to catch yourself not living in the moment, but living in the idea.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, oh my God, I'm telling people things, I'm doing these things, and they're not reciprocating it, so there's no way they feel that way. And then you get in your own head about it. I'm telling you, man, the worst place to be in a relationship is in your own head. Because you're constantly wondering, well, how do they actually feel? How is this actually working out for me? Am I still good? Is everything okay? Everything seems fine, but maybe it's not fine. Is it all fake? And look, man, you will literally play conspiracy theory in your own head about your own relationship.
Mm-hmm.
When sometimes, man, you really just got to be there in that moment. And if things work out, they work out. If they don't, they don't. That's how everything works. It's how jobs work. It's the weird thing about relationships is that we create these situations in our head that we feel like it should be. Whether it's I think you should feel this way, or I think I should feel this way. So you make that happen in your own head.
Mm-hmm.
But nobody does that for their work. Think about it, man. You go to work every day. You do your job. You go home. You have different things throughout the day where you're like, oh, I should do that better. I should do this. But you don't sit there and say, what does this job feel about me? You don't do that. It's only in relationships. And I think that's...
Your job doesn't care. That's...
Right. Well, but I mean, and look, there are some people who are so career-minded that but they're replacing relationships with their career.
Mm-hmm.
People are creatures of weird habit in the sense that we create different environments based on what we feel the world should be. And if that is a career, then you'll do it with a career. If it's with a woman or a man, then you'll do it with a woman or a man. If it's with your child, it's with your child. There's always a different, avenue for people to create those things. Basically, we should treat all things like we do our career. We should be there for them. We should exist in them. We should also ultimately know that you take a step back sometimes. And you gotta let it grow or let it die based on what it is. Look, you can water a plant all you want, but if the plant's got a disease, it's gonna die.
Mm-hmm.
It just is what it is.
Yeah, and you also want to make sure that the other person feels comfortable in the relationship.
Yes.
Like, you don't want to feel like they're forced to do anything, or whether it's like the physical stuff, or whether it's the just even, hey, I'm gonna take my sister to this, take me kind of thing. It's like, don't force someone to do things they're not wanting to do.
Right. I think people put themselves in that position too, though. Guys will do it all the time. Oh no, I want to be here. I want to do this. I want to do that. They don't necessarily want to do it. I can tell you that in my life, I don't do things I don't want to do. I just don't. You know me. I don't feel like doing something, I'm just not going to show up. I don't care. But I do find when I want to do stuff, I'm much more like pushy about it.
Yeah.
And I got to catch myself even in that. With friends, with everyone. You got to be like, look, man, sometimes I got to say, Fetty, calm down. Chill out. It's going to be all right. That type of thing.
Yeah.
But I totally believe that that's, it's a pro and a con. You never want to come off to anyone as too, a lot of people would say desperate, or even just too into it. Sometimes, again, it's all about the moment.
Mm-hmm.
You have to live in those moments with these people. You have to live in, when you're together, this is good. You have to understand that people have lives. Look, a lot of people, not just guys, girls too, people who are clingy, they forget that you're not the only thing that exists in somebody's lives. I'll give you a good example. We're at the age now where, for instance, for you, you're 26, you're about to be 26, there's a good chance you date somebody, she might already have a kid. You have to accept that,
Mm-hmm.
and it comes to a point where you'll never be the number one person in that person's life.
Yeah.
You have to be there for that person when they need you, not using you, but just, understand that they're also raising a child. They also have a career.
Mm-hmm.
And ultimately, those are better people, right? Like, those are people you want to be, because those are people that they don't need you. They just need you to be there when they need you. They need you to when you're in a relationship with somebody like that, they need you to be their support system. And that ultimately, that's fertilizer, man. Fertilizer for the plant. Grows in a beautiful plant.
Yeah. I don't know what to say.
No, and these are just things that, as somebody who has a kid, as somebody who knows a lot of people who have kids that are single, or that, have failed relationships or have been in bad situations, you know, that makes a person really callous to some degree.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're looking at a person who, you know, after you've been through some shit, you don't really want to necessarily deal with nonsense. And it makes sense, right? I mean, why would you? You don't want somebody that's going to constantly be up your ass all the time. You know, you want somebody who is honest and who's going to do what they say they're going to do. That's what it comes down to, man.
Yeah.
And that's more advice for you. You'll see, man, because you're going to find a girl and she's probably going to have like 6 kids. And you'll be stepdaddy Derek.
I'm good. I'd be willing to do a relationship with like 1 kid in the mix, but that's a lot of kids, man.
What if she has 6 kids and she had like 1 husband and he died tragically?
This isn't Fuller House.
That'd be a full house, all right. A lot of kids. You'd be like, Daddy Derek, Daddy Derek.
That just doesn't sound right coming out of your mouth.
No, it doesn't. I gotta quit drinking before podcast.
I told you not to.
No, I feel good, man. I think this is going really well.
But yeah, at the end of the day, no matter what kind of relationship you have, I think communication is the best.
Yeah, even in friendships, man. I'm bad about it. I think I'm getting better. I mean, there was times where we talked about this. You know, you get so in your own head about stuff that you kind of lose focus on your friends, your family,
Mm-hmm.
and you just kind of blow people off. And it's not necessarily a conscious effort. It's just that I'll text them later, you know, or I'll deal with it later. But then later never really comes, and then everything's just kind of on your plate, and people are kind of cutting you off for it. And you don't blame them. I've lost friends doing that exact same thing. But then again, there's an overcorrect that's even worse. If you just get up people's asses all the time, there's a point where you have to. You got to find that meeting of being there for people and being what you say you're going to be, or not being there for people, but let them know that you're not going to be there. I mean, it's really that simple. Be a person that's honest about it. Look, man, I'm not going to come over there. You know what I'm saying? You can still have friends. You just have to set those expectations.
Yeah, just don't be that friend that doesn't show up for, a year.
Yeah, that was me. I did that. Yeah, I was in a weird place. That's how I got this beard. What it was is I was growing a beard, and it took me a year to grow this, so I didn't want to be in public.
Yeah, because literally, you picked up my bass and amp, and then I didn't see you for like another year.
I was busy with that bass and that amp.
Busy.
I was in a sad state of depression. Anyway, yeah, so, yeah, I mean, but yeah, your takeaway is right, man. And the thing about a lot of your relationships was like these high school situations. I mean, you had old girl, but even that was kind of a high school situation, in my opinion. I mean, I remember all your relationships because we were best friends through it all. And I remember being like, oh my God.
Yeah, because we became close friends around when I was, 15-ish? So, since my first relationship started at 16.
Yeah, so I was there for just about all of them, man. And, yeah, it was always weird for me for you because you're like the nicest dude I know. Like, hands down, I don't know anybody nicer than Derek. My mom is not as nice as Derek. She'll tell you that, actually. Maybe Caleb, Stoneface, he's a nice guy. But, I mean, you're almost too nice. And I it's easy to see people, like, taking advantage of my little man. And I don't like that. You know what I mean? I don't like that. I'll slap a bitch. You know? But no, I mean, yeah, I agree with your takeaways though, man. And again, really, technically, you have more experience in that specific field because you've been in more relationships.
Yeah, but you've also been in a relationship for a longer period of time.
Yeah, but that's a different thing, man. That's a whole different animal. That's a different question, even. I mean, then you talk about how you sustain it, and I'll be honest with you, man. It's some days are easier than others. Some days are battles. Some days aren't.
Mm-hmm.
Some days you want to, I don't know, Kurt Cobain it. You know what I mean? Other days you don't. And by Kurt Cobain, I mean write a song. I mean blow your brains out. Some days you want to blow your brains out, but it works out. But yeah, man, what's next on the list there?
So what are the expectations in the dating world versus reality?
I kind of touched on that. People want... the weird thing about what people want is that they're full of shit. Because most people say, well, I want somebody who's, everybody wants someone that's like there for them, kind of. Mm-hmm. And we lose ourselves in these selfish thoughts, most of which are utterly ridiculous. people have lives. People need to maintain their lives. You cannot, it doesn't matter if you're married, it doesn't matter if you're single, it doesn't matter if you're dating, it doesn't matter if, whatever. You have to respect that people have lives. So the expectation is that you become that person's life, right? Like that everything starts to revolve around each other. But there's nothing more detrimental to a relationship than that.
Yeah.
And you see it every time. I mean, you talk about how many people times you see on Facebook. I'm not going to say any names. You people know who you are. Where they put, "Oh my God, the love of my life." It's like, really, that's the 7th love of your life this year. You know?
Yeah, it's like every other month you get a new relationship. It's like, oh, he's the love of my life, oh my God, he's so wonderful, great. And then it's like 2 months later, it's like, oh, this other person's the love of my life, oh my God, so great.
And look, some people are just, they cheat on each other, they do this, whatever. Some people, you just put so much of yourself into it, and then you wake up one morning and you're like, oh shit. You're like, oh, I was wrong. I like you, you know? Mm-hmm. But that's because I think people, in general, I think it's always been this way. They yearn for a physical connection. People don't necessarily give it a minute to know somebody before they get physical with someone. And I think that's a big thing.
So, do you think that aspect of everything is kind of a newer trend or anything?
Absolutely not. It's not newer. It's just, it's more acceptable. I certainly feel like, and look, I know both your parents are great people. They are the epitome of what a marriage should be. I love them both to death. But I also know my parents. And I can tell you, no, I mean, there's always been a huge physical aspect to relationships. You just didn't, some people tend to have seemed to be better about it back then, but also you didn't have social media. You didn't have cell phones. If people were running around with each other, there's really no way to know about it. I mean, think about it. If you were cheating on somebody and you didn't have social media, how are you going to get caught? Other than somebody catching you. Yeah, somebody might come out and say, hey, this happened, but prove it. Nowadays, screenshot on blast. I mean...
So, what are your thoughts on just the hookup culture in general? Not necessarily for cheating, but just like people...
Just people hooking up?
Yeah, who don't believe in relationships, they just want to be physical.
That's cool, man. You choose to do that, man. I don't necessarily have a problem with it. I think I don't think I could ever do that. Like, even if everything else failed in my life, I think companionship is key, even for me, and for most people. But some people just haven't met their match yet. Some people run around, play, they hook up culture, man. It's a big thing. But they'll always sooner or later meet one person. And sometimes that one person meets them, and it's like, wait a minute. This, and then bam, 3 kids later and a mortgage and minivan, and bam, what are you doing? I mean, there's plenty of people that have met like that. It's more culturally acceptable. I don't know why. I don't know if it's just because, America's changed or the world has changed. I tend to believe that it's probably always been this way. It's just so much easier now. So much easier to turn your phone on, click your little Tinder app, swipe right, you know what I'm saying? Or go on to Facebook. Oh, so-and-so's single. Hey, girl, what's up? That stuff is just so much easier now. Look, think about it. How did you know people broke up before you had social media? You run into Karen in the store, and she'd be like, oh, Elizabeth and John broke up. And then,
Why is there always Karen at the store?
Because she's looking for a manager. She's always there. But no, I'm not going to, I don't believe anybody should tell people how they should love people. I'm a full supporter. If you love hookup culture and you have partners that are okay with that, who am I? If you whatever, you cannot tell people how to have a love life. Like, that is legitimate. That's 100% a person's choice. You cannot sway that at all, ever.
So, what do you think of the honeymoon phase? Do you think that's something that's can easily transition into like a genuine relationship, or is it just...
Absolutely. There's always honeymoon phase. I think that it's important, if you're trying to have a relationship, to remind yourself that not everything's easy, especially not in phase. Because that doesn't necessarily... In marriage, it can exist in marriage, but most of the time it exists nowadays in the first years of a relationship, first year or so, 6 months, 8 months. You have to kind of go away from that person and say, okay, there's no way everything is always perfect. But considering that things aren't perfect, can I still make this work? Can I still do this? Can I still do that? Because what you're going to find out is, we can sit here and talk all day. And I can say, man, look, if you're a woman, I love all these things about you. But naturally, at some point, they're going to do one thing that you don't like. And you have to take that back home and be like, is that a pet peeve or, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And it's very rare, dude. I mean, there are people out there that you're going to look at and be like, yep, they're absolutely perfect. They really are. Those people exist. And you're like, man, you know? And you'll go years without noticing anything. And then one day they cough and you're like, like, what a weird way to cough. I don't know if I like that, you know? But you have to remind yourself that that is a phase. Those are pheromones, those are hormones. All these things are going off in your body and telling you this person can never do any wrong. I mean, look, and I'll give you a great example. Somebody loved Hitler. I mean, and that's a good example because a lot of people did. But I mean, there was a woman who loved that man who could not see that he was wrong. Not see that he was wrong? That was good. I didn't catch it at first, but that was good. That was an accident.
Good wordplay, man. Good wordplay.
I appreciate that. But that's my point. I mean, you can see, anybody can see perfect in anybody if they don't look any further than where they're at. Mm-hmm. You've got to work past those things, though, man. You've got to get to that honeymoon phase. You've got to say, this is how I feel right now. How will I feel in a year? And that's what you have to base every decision you make on, man. You really do. And that's hard. That's so hard to do because there are times where you really cannot see wrong in people. You just got to get past that. You got to get past that. You've been in several honeymoon phases. You tell me.
I mean, I wouldn't exactly call them honeymoon phases, but I definitely think that people do at the beginning of the relationship. They're just so wanting to make things work that they'll kind of agree and just kind of ignore things without
Absolutely.
talking about it. Because,
Right.
like I said earlier, communication is key.
Absolutely.
So if you're feeling like, oh, hey, I don't like when you do this or that, then say something. So,
Right.
so at least you can have that conversation.
Right, and just get it out the way, you know, because most of the time it's absolutely nothing. And what you'll realize is the other person's like, oh, yeah, I feel that. Or, well, this is why I do that. Or this is what it's about. And then you can be like, oh, okay, well, we're on the same page. Or we're at least understanding of each other. There's a lot of stuff you do that you don't realize you do that people hate. You know, I mean.
Okay.
What? My phone did a thing. Hang on.
Apparently, was that Siri? Is that Siri?
No, I have Google.
Oh, okay. Google agrees with us.
Google Assistant is doing a thing.
That was kind of funny.
What? Google, go away.
No, Google's. Hey man, I think Google's trying to take you out, bro. Google's like honeymoon phase. Press my buttons, Derek.
I love technology, but not like that.
We're almost there, man. We're getting to some. Never mind. Anyway, sex robots. All right, they're there, man. They're existing.
But so to kind of get on a lighter note, what are some Valentine's date things you?
I have no idea. Look, I'm gonna be straight up honest with you. I don't. Man, I mean, it's so generic. Nobody's. Yeah, man. One time it was Valentine's Day, so I made a guy dress up like Cupid and jump out of a cake. Like, there's nothing you could really do on Valentine's Day. No, seriously, that somebody hasn't seen or heard before. I've done the flowers and the cards and I mean everything. I think that you have to. You really should try to remind yourself that every week is Valentine's Day. That's how you keep stuff fresh. I mean, and look, I learned that from your dad. Straight up, dude. Your dad is like, hey, Mr. Lonnie, yeah, what's up, man? But, like, no disrespect, love that dude to death, man. He got me a really good job. He got me a lot of opportunities, and I appreciate it. But one thing he taught me was you have to take some initiative in your relationship. And that's on both ends.
Yeah.
But from the sense of a guy, man, you know, you show up, you look, you know, hey, pick this dress up, put this dress on, we're going out, you know, and you go do these things. I think we live in a culture right now where, like, a lot of guys are using this feminist movement as some sort of, like, excuse as to why, well, you can't tell a woman to put a dress on and go. That's stupid, man. Women want somebody who's going to take care of them, who's going to show, look, and I'm not saying disrespect them. I'm not saying, bitch, put this dress on. Like, none of that. I'm saying, look, you should get them something nice, take them out for a nice dinner, show them a nice time, remind them that they're special every day, dude. Every day. I mean, whether it's a text message, whether you download an app that you write a little text, like type a little cute message up and get it to send to them later, so when they at work they pop it open and oh look, that's so sweet. Or when they at home with the baby having a rough day, get a little something, remind them that they're important.
Yeah.
That's what you got to do, man. That's what you have to do. So Valentine's Day's a day. You got to try to make that year round. You really do. And I'm not saying every day. I'm saying just, things are getting rough. You know it's a rough time of year. You know it's the baby's been sick and she's been waking up with him because you got to go to work or whatever. Remind them that you appreciate that. It's about showing appreciation to people you care about.
Yeah, whether it's small or big, you should definitely put some effort.
And look, it ain't even hard. Text messages. Send a quote. Go online, find a little lovey-dovey quote, send it. Because look, there's a lot of guys out there, you working hard, but your woman's working hard too. She might be working 10-hour days, or you trying to get with a woman. I say get with, all due respect. You're trying to date someone. You're trying to get involved with somebody's life, and she's having a hard time. Send a little quote. Let her know, look, bam, bam, bam. This is what it is. And you would be surprised at how far that goes. See, what I found out about women is, contrary to rap music, they don't like being called bitches or hoes. They like feeling special. That's what it comes down to. Everybody does.
Okay.
It's true. They don't. Ask them.
But do you have any specific Valentine stories or just?
I really don't, man. Do
no.
You got anything?
Got a couple.
Go ahead, man. You got time. I've been talking this whole time. You go ahead.
Yeah, I've been kind of like letting you kind of take the reins since you have a lot more
I
interesting backstory.
I got a couple stories, but they may not be Valentine stories. Go ahead, man.
But for Valentine specifically, there was once, I want to say maybe my freshman year of college, there was a friend of mine from high school who kind of let me go on a pity date with her. She had a boyfriend and all, but it was just kind of like a friend, kind of Valentine's date. And you should remember this because you actually really with the chair again.
Hold on. Go ahead, keep talking. I can hear you.
But he actually kind of helped me out with it. So I was like, I need to flex my romance muscles. I don't really date much, so she was like, sure, why not? And so what we ended up doing was went to this restaurant, which, funny enough, I went just because they have a peanut butter and jelly bacon cheeseburger.
Yep. Man, that burger was good, though, right? They still have it. They're still there.
Yeah, they do.
We should go one day.
But, went to the restaurant just because they had that. I was like, you know what?
Is this the girl that's from Bayou Vista?
Yeah.
I'm so proud of her. She's awesome. She's doing a lot of stuff, man.
But, so we went to dinner, but it turned out to be a little more romantic than we expected. Because this is actually not even on Valentine's Day. It was like a day or two later. It was like on the weekend.
It's like the same, right.
And they had like the lights all dim, and it was like all chill and quiet. And
Marvin Gaye was on in the background.
Probably.
Yeah.
So we had a nice little dinner. I was like, okay, this is a little awkward, but okay. Because, like I said, you had a boyfriend, so it's not like you want to go overly romantic. You just kind of want to just have a good time. So then, as a part 2 of the plan, I had Aaron drop off cookies and a guitar at the park.
I did do that, didn't I?
Yeah,
I'm such a romantic. I do stuff like that.
But so what I had done was I had the cookies made and I had the guitar because I wrote her a song. Because how else do you show love and affection other than a song?
I know, I do the same thing. They're always terrible. It's just like, they're not terrible. They're just like, if I ever sang them in front of people, they'd be like, what are you doing?
They're like cheesy and hokey. Like the person you're singing it for will appreciate it, but...
Because it's so specific. Nobody else would get it. Right.
But it was like one of those things where like she really appreciated. Had a nice little... She cried a little bit. It was a nice little hug. It was great.
No, I was iffy about her before, and if she ever listens to this, she'll definitely know who we're talking about. But I don't know if you keep up with her all now. She's doing a lot of shit, and I respect her for it. Like, a lot of respect for her and her family. But, yeah, I remember that now. Yeah, that's probably that's the thing about you, dude. You can make moments. I'm not really good at that. I can say words. I can craft sentences in a way. Not grammatically right, but I can use words like a love doctor. I can say things, but when it comes down to putting plans in motion, I'm not very artistic with that. Never have been.
Yeah, I'm definitely more of a actions speak louder than word kind of person.
I'm a words speak louder than actions because you actually have to speak words. So actually, I'm right.
Wait, what?
Although if you punch somebody in the face, that's pretty loud. It's pretty loud.
But there was also I don't remember if I counted this as her birthday or Valentine's because it was a thing that was like literally 2 days apart from her birthday.
Right.
Because I think Valentine's 14th, her birthday was the 16th.
Same girl?
No, different girl. This is from 3 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so as a...
Starts with a K?
Okay, we can stop.
I'm just making sure that's the right one?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, I got you.
Okay, so as a kind of both a birthday gift and a Valentine's gift, I got us tickets to go to the aquarium in New Orleans. And I got one of those backstage passes to go play with the penguins.
Oh, I remember that, dude. I was so jealous.
Dude, the penguins are so cute, and you get to feed them. It's so great.
You get to touch them?
Yeah, you get to touch them. And they also, at the very end, they lay down these, like, posters, and they put paint on the penguin's feet, and they walk over it, and you get to keep the poster.
Oh, man, that's so cute.
It's so cute, and
I love penguins and turtles, man.
But yeah, they kind of told us, like, oh, this is where these come from, this is how they have relationships, because some of them have relationships.
Are they made for life?
Not necessarily.
Oh. Okay, well.
Like some of them.
Seahorses do, I heard. That might be true. That might not be true. I don't know.
I don't know how animals work with their
with their mating habits. I don't know. Watch Animal Planet. I'm not saying I follow mating habits of animals. Let's just take a step back.
Then why do you keep mentioning more and more animals?
Well, we were talking about relationships, so I thought maybe you were going to say penguins mate for life, and I was like, oh, that's beautiful. Like penguins, like they seem like little penguins.
No. Sometimes they break up and they go with other penguins.
Is it like a serious event for them?
I don't know.
I was just wondering.
But they molt, and it's a lot of feathers just all over the place.
That's so crazy because they look so slick,
Yeah. They're cute, though.
You get to take a penguin feather? You should have taken a penguin feather.
I did not get a penguin feather.
You should have grabbed one. I would have grabbed one.
There wasn't exactly one in the room where they let us play with them.
Off. Just pull a feather off.
I'm not going to do that. Penguins, they eat fish whole. I'm not going to...
What are they going to do? Eat your hand? You're bigger than they are. Just smack them in the head.
I couldn't do that.
Well, man, people want to square up, man.
They're too cute.
Penguins in Madagascar is funny. But anyway, what were you saying?
Penguin...
No, they are. Dude, smile and wave, boys. And they're just like, yeah.
God, that's a childhood and a half right there.
I know. So, I'm sorry, what were you saying, though?
Just penguins are cute, man. That's the moral of the story.
Yeah, that girl was weird. But yeah, you... No, that was a good one, too. I remember that. I was like, oh, man, look at there changing the game, man. Making us all look bad.
I'm really good at, going over the top for romantic stuff, but, just doesn't always work out for me,
Maybe you try too hard.
I do try too hard.
Be a little less available. Don't respond right away. Give them a minute to think about it.
But one more Valentine's story, though. There was another friend I went to that was also another kind of just a friend date kind of thing.
Right.
And it was actually when Deadpool came out. It was me, her, and her friend and her friend's, I don't know if boyfriend at the time or what. But we all went go see Deadpool, and then after we went to, the Waffle House? Yeah, Waffle House. And we all just had a nice time, just ate some food, and then went back to their apartment, and we played Mario Kart for a few hours.
Mario Kart is awesome.
Mario Kart and Super Smash Brothers,
I like Mario Party as well.
I have not played that.
Really? It's like a board... Basically, if you want to lose friends, it's like Monopoly for game systems. It causes problems.
So Monopoly for Mario games?
Yeah.
Actually, every Mario game is a Monopoly game. Because think about it, when you're playing Mario Kart, you get pissed whenever you lose.
That's true.
Super Smash Brothers, you get pissed when you lose.
Yeah. No, but stuff like that's always fun, man. Sometimes it's just cool to chill, That's the best way to get to know people is just put them in an environment where you don't really have any outside interference. You just get it. That's why dinners are so nice. Mm-hmm. It's we're stuck here, so somebody better say some shit.
But I did learn if, say you get matched with someone Tinder, you're talking a little bit, and it's like, oh, hey, let's go on a date. Don't make the date strictly a movie because you don't get a chance to talk, and then they say you don't talk much and you're boring.
That makes sense.
That happened to me once, and I'm still upset about it.
Did you like the girl?
I mean, we'd only been talking for a week, but...
Yeah, I think dinner's the way to go, because you're forcing conversation. Sometimes you gotta force conversation.
Yeah, I would definitely say do something that's... you're able to talk. So don't go to the movies, go to, dinner, go bowling, do something.
Go for a walk.
Nice little walk on the...
Find a little park. There's parks around here. Go for a little walk.
I would not recommend going for a walk around the park at night.
Yeah.
Especially at the one at Girard Park in UL, because...
cocaine's a hell of a drug.
No, people just get murdered.
Wait. People just get murdered. That's... Okay, well, apparently UL is a dangerous school, guys.
I mean, every school's dangerous at some point.
To some degree, yeah. I mean, there's always problems. People just easy targets. That's all that is.
Yeah. They're young people. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that's happening at UL that...
So you touched on this a little while ago. How do you feel about dating apps, Derek?
They're good and they're bad.
Explain.
They're good in the sense that, like, you get to see the ocean of fish that are out there in the world.
Keep going.
Hang on. You got me choked up, man.
The ocean of fish. You got a couple narwhals out there. Got some beluga whales. You got a couple, I don't know, you got some dolphins. You got some, mackerel. There's just a bunch of, it's basically you go on Tinder and there's like women and then there's like a fish page and there's a bunch of fish, right?
Actually, there is a app called Plenty of Fish.
Plenty of fish, yeah.
Yeah, so it's literally...
Well, right. I mean, it's just a bunch of fish. You're just swiping right on tuna or whatever you like.
But as far as, like, the apps that I find have the least amount of paywall would definitely be Tinder, Bumble, and Facebook. Because there are some that have, like, a lot of pay blocks. Like, you might only be able to match, like, click, like, on, like, one or two people. And it's like, okay, either pay us or earn points or whatever. And
right, you gotta
really
watch all the ads and blur go, yeah, right.
But Bumble is kind of interesting in the way that even if you match, the girl has to make the first move.
That's probably a lot safer for girls.
Yeah. But while you do have all these options, it's also kind of a problem of you don't really get a chance to meet organically, which I think can kind of make it a little easier to get into a relationship.
I think, I don't know. I never used a dating app. I was out the game by that point, but I think it depends because if you're a person that works 6 days a week, there's no way you're going to meet somebody organically.
Yeah.
I mean, the chances of that happening, because you can say, well, I can meet them on Facebook, but that's not organic either.
Yeah.
You know, it's the same thing. I think there was a point where dating online was weird, or like they'd send me those VHS copies, like those dating sites, or like.
Oh god, like the early day of eHarmony.
Oh man, it got weird. But now, I mean, people live fast-paced lives, man. And if you're like a person who's in their 30s and you know you're career-minded and you're working all the time, it's pretty rough to. It'd be very hard for you to meet someone, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think some of them are ridiculous. Right? Like Grindr, for instance. We know what that's about. I think that blackpeoplemeet.com, stuff like that. I just feel like that's a little. You know, just go on one. Like we're not, I mean, I think it's or farmers only. I mean, what's really going
Christian
on?
Mingle.
That's another one. Who the hell wants to? I mean, it just right. Like I mean,
like it also feels like we're kind of like narrowing down what we want too much.
Right, because again, you're trying to find people that are exactly like you. Like if you go to Christian Mingle, what do you expect to find? If you are using Christian Mingle, you're trying to find somebody who's just like you. Yeah. You don't want that. If you're a Christian, you want a crazy woman. You want somebody who's wild. You got to get the opposite end of that spectrum, brother.
Yeah, but also I feel it's kind of messed up in a way that you're kind of judging a book by its cover. You're literally reading the...
Assuming, right.
You're looking at the cover, which is their picture, and then the little description that's on the back of the book, that's basically their bio. That's all you're getting.
Right. And, I mean, I think the bio is the important part there. I definitely don't think we should ever judge somebody based on how they look, because you could change that so easy. Yeah. We're both good examples. You're a better example than me, but I was fat as shit 8 months ago. I lost a lot of weight, and you lost even more weight. And it makes a difference, but it's that simple, you know. If you can change something that simply about yourself, then it's really not that important to define you as a person. Yeah. Right? Like that's what we really have to say, because look, if you're a raging alcoholic, that's one thing. That's, you know, but if you just eat better or work out or whatever, you can lose weight. You can be a skinnier person. Should not judge people based on that. I mean, you know, I'm not saying if you see somebody who's like at a point in their life where they're not going to change, or they're just living a really unhealthy lifestyle, like, yeah, you don't want to wait. You know, you wouldn't want to. I get that, but I mean, you're looking at that bio, man. That's what's important. Yeah. What is this person like? What are they like? And is there any way I can open up a door here? Yeah. That's it, man. That's what you're doing.
Yeah, it always gets me excited when it's like a nerdy little bio. It's like, oh, I'm really into Sherlock or Marvel or something like that. I'm like, okay, I can get into this. We can have a nice conversation at least about that.
Yeah,
kind of hopefully branch off from that.
Open the door. Be like, hey, what's up? I see you're into this. I'm into that too. And then from there, you never know.
And then hopefully in that conversation you could branch off and find things you also like, or maybe things you kind of
Well,
diverge
you'd
from.
be surprised at how you meet. Some people, dude, I mean, sometimes you just, you know, people meet in weird ways. People play online games. I got a buddy of mine who married a woman he met on World of Warcraft. And they're two of the happiest people I've ever met in my life. They got a kid, they got another one on the way. Great people. Straight up. And a lot of it is just, you meet somebody, you talk a little shit, and it's like, hey, wait a minute, we got some shit in common. I just stumbled upon that on accident. And that's the best type of way to find out you have stuff in common. It's just by accident. You know, you're not trying, you're just hanging out, man. That's what you're doing, you know, and that makes it a little more organic.
Yeah.
And I'm all about organic, at least when it comes to stuff like that. When it comes to food, I like processed, terrible food.
I mean, what's the real difference between organic and...
I don't know. It's better for you. They don't put the pesticides or something. I don't know. I have no idea. They could just be saying organic, and I'm like, it's better for you, right?
Yeah, they'll change like one part of the process and be like, oh, it's organic.
Instead of spitting on it, we poured cyanide on it. It's organic.
I feel the spit would have been more organic, but...
Well, it depends on what you eat.
But you kind of mentioned this briefly earlier, but social media, how do you think that affects relationships?
Sorry. Oh.
Wake up, we're talking.
I need another shot. Social media and relationships. Look, some people blame social media for the problems in their relationships, but the thing is that people are people. So if somebody's going to cheat on somebody, you can't really blame Facebook for that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that person's just a cheater. Facebook didn't do it, right?
Yeah.
I think social media can also be a good thing, though. I mean, you can connect with people almost by sheer accident. You comment on a post, and all of a sudden you're having a conversation with someone, and you're like, wait a minute, man, like what is this? You know? You just open up a line of communication with someone that you didn't have initially, right? And that can turn into anything, dude. It can turn into a relationship, a friendship, whatever. You didn't have that ability before. So I think social media can be a good thing, but it can also be a bad thing. It just depends on, it's a tool. Who's using it? That's what matters.
Yeah. Do you feel people are overusing social media?
Yes.
It's like their way of
Yes.
saying, oh, hey, relationship, and you have all those pictures, you have all those posts.
Yeah, I definitely, you can check mine. You wouldn't even know I'm married if you look at my Facebook page. And it's not because I'm hiding my marriage or hiding my relationship prior. I just don't think it's important. I don't think that,
Like, I think it's fine if you have, like, a post here and there.
Or a picture, hey, look, we were out with the, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, if you like, did something fun together, post a picture. If it's like your anniversary, sure, post the thing, but you don't have to be posting every single day, because...
Nope.
Because if y'all break up, then you have all that stuff that's going to just kind of, like, reopen all those wounds.
It's not even just that. It's like, how about you just live in your relationship and quit living it through Facebook?
Yeah, because you're kind of showing only the good parts of the relationship.
Right.
You're not showing the world, oh, hey, we have problems. Whether or not they're fixing them, that's kind of on them, but...
Well, and that's it. You're not fixing anything. You're on Facebook.
True.
I mean, what about you, man? How you feel about Facebook?
I mean, I definitely think people can calm down sometimes. Like, one of my friends, Ben, they have the perfect amount of, like, relationship stuff on there. Like, for Valentine's, anytime he does something romantic, sure, post it. That's fine. But it's also not like they're constantly posting every single day, like, oh, love my life, blah, blah, like we were saying earlier. They're just kind of showing, like, bits and pieces, but they're still kind of, like, living their relationship.
You gotta live, man. And that's for everything. You can't post everything on Facebook. I use Facebook for memes. I don't... Nobody even knows I'm here today.
So if you just died today, no one would know where you were?
Well, I mean, like, my wife and kid would, but my mom does too, because she called me while I was here.
True.
So don't kill me. First off, you can't kill me. I'll shoot you in the face.
With what gun? Please don't pull out a gun.
I'm telling you, don't play with me.
But I think Facebook can be kind of like a way to keep people updated on your relationship, but do it in like a healthy way. Don't overdo it.
Yeah, I mean, it's important to look, if some good stuff happens, hey, came home today and found these flowers, that's a thing.
Treat it almost like a wedding. Like, weddings are like that moment where, like, you're sharing this bond with everyone that you know.
Right.
So treat kind of like Facebook like that, where it's like special events.
Especially when it comes to that. Like I said, other than that, man, Facebook is a meme site at best. Let's just be honest here.
Yeah, most of my memes come from there.
Yeah, I use 9gag and Facebook. If anybody's wondering what I use, 9gag, the dark humor section, and Facebook. That's my two.
You don't use Reddit?
Reddit. I mean, I've been known to frequent, but not as much as 9gag.
Mm.
Once you start looking on 9gag or Reddit, you'll find it's all the same stuff anyway.
Where do the memes originate though?
Oh man, some really sweaty guy in a basement, most likely his mom's, and he's just typing away at that keyboard trying to get them freaking shares, man. And then people steal it, and he gets mad, and he smells weird.
Why are you seducing the microphone right now?
He lives in a whole world full of like hot pockets and pizza rolls, and he'll be dead by the time he's 36. It's me. I'm that guy. Anyway.
Okay.
He says okay.
I'm just gonna go with it.
You're gonna go with it.
Nice little over description, but
just hot, sweaty. There's like a fan on, and I don't know. There's a lot of chest hair involved. No shirt. Like clickety clacking on the keyboard. Anyway.
why do I feel like that's one of those videos they show like in school where it's like the pedophile on the computer?
It's like some dude named Frank. He's like smoking a cigarette, putting it out on his arm. Anyway, you got like high cholesterol, diabetes.
Can you say diabetes correctly just once? You always
diabetes.
No, you keep saying diabetes.
Diabetes, yeah.
It's ES, not US.
Diabetes.
America is crumbling.
Dude, the guy said it on the Buford Wilford, whatever his name was. He said it on the TV. He said diabetes.
Yes, but
Remember that poor horse he was riding, screaming for its life? Wilford Brimley, I think that was his name. You guys correct me if I'm wrong on that.
so
Remember?
yeah,
Diabetes?
yeah,
Derek?
yeah.
Diabetes?
Okay, you can stop. But any other 2 cents you want to put into the
Dude, I don't even have 2 cents.
penny that you found on the ground earlier?
Hold on. I don't even have a wallet. Penny for my thoughts. I'm broke. No, man, I'm good. How you feeling about it?
I think we touched the core of it. Just make sure you're open with the person you're with. That's the main thing.
And always touch the core.
Wait, what?
You said we touched the core. I said always touch the core. You know?
Okay.
That was mega weird.
Why do you always fit that in at the very end? It's like you're forcing it in at the end. That's what she said.
Ow! You got one! Hey, man, good job. Right here.
It only took 7 episodes.
Yeah, it did take 7. But you know what, Derek? Sometimes you just got to do what you got to do, man. Always remember, people. Don't look. Left on Red. You guys look that up. Derek's short stories. Look that up, too. We got to find out who that weed dealer is. Hashtag who's the weed dealer. And always remember, $20 is $20.
And also, no one is half the battle. G.I. Joe. Okay. We're going to see you guys next week. Bye.